Have you ever woken up after a full night's sleep and felt confused by how tired you still are? Not just sleepy, but heavy, drained, like your body rested, but something deeper didn't. And maybe you've thought, what's wrong with me? Why can't rest ever feel like enough? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. By the end of this video, you'll understand why empaths are often exhausted even after sleeping, and you'll know what actually helps instead of pushing yourself harder. There are two things we're going to gently uncover today. One is why your energy seems to leak away, even when nothing dramatic is happening. And the other is the exact shift you can make when you feel that familiar depletion starting again. We'll come back to both, because the reason isn't laziness or poor sleep. And here's the part most people never explain. Empaths don't get exhausted because they do too much on the outside. They get exhausted because they're always active on the inside. Even when you're resting, even when you're alone, some part of your nervous system is still tuned outward. It's tracking tone, replaying conversations, anticipating needs, sensing emotional shifts. And while that may feel normal to you, it's not neutral for your body. Think about how your mind behaves when you lie down at night. You're not just thinking random thoughts. You're revisiting moments, wondering if you said the wrong thing, feeling responsible for someone else's mood, carrying emotions that don't belong to you anymore. That isn't rest. That's vigilance. And vigilance, even when it's quiet, uses an enormous amount of energy. For many empaths, this pattern began early. Being emotionally aware helps you stay connected. It helped you avoid conflict. It helped you feel useful or safe. So your system learned to stay alert, even when there was no immediate danger. The problem is, it never learned how to fully turn that alertness off. So now, as an adult, your body keeps working long after it should be restoring. Here's a reframe I want you to hear slowly. Your exhaustion is not a personal failure. It's a sign of a nervous system that has been overfunctioning for a long time. You've been doing emotional labor most people don't even notice. You've been holding space, absorbing tension, softening interactions, often without realizing it. And that kind of effort doesn't show up on a to-do list, but your body remembers it. Imagine your nervous system like a phone with dozens of apps running in the background. Even when the screen goes dark, the battery keeps draining. Sleep turns the screen off, but it doesn't close the apps. And until those background processes slow down, rest will never feel complete. This is why so many empaths wake up already tired. You might notice this exhaustion is worse after being around certain people, even people you love. Nothing bad happens. There's no obvious conflict, and yet afterward you feel empty. That's often because you were emotionally present without being emotionally protected. You stayed attuned, but you didn't stay grounded. And over time, that creates a fatigue that sleep alone can't fix. Listen closely to this next part. True rest for empaths isn't just about stopping activity. It's about stopping emotional responsibility, especially the unconscious responsibility you feel for how others are feeling. The moment your system believes it can stand down from that role, even briefly, your energy begins to return. But for many empaths, that idea brings up guilt, and we'll talk about that, because it's important. There's a simple sentence that can interrupt this draining pattern when you notice it happening. I'm feeling low on energy, so I'm going to take some space right now. That sentence doesn't reject anyone. It doesn't explain or justify. It simply honors what's true. And every time you say it, your body learns that it doesn't have to collapse to stay connected. Before we go further, I want to offer you a short reset you can try today when that deep exhaustion shows up. Take a slow breath in through your nose. As you exhale, gently press your feet into the floor or the bed beneath you. Feel the support holding you, then silently say, I am allowed to rest without managing anything right now. This isn't about forcing calm. It's about letting your nervous system loosen its grip. In a moment, we're going to talk about how to tell the difference between healthy tiredness and empath exhaustion. And I'll share another boundary sentence that protects your energy without hardening you. I'll also guide you through a few questions you can ask yourself to check in, honestly. But for now, let this settle. If sleep hasn't been enough, it's not because you're broken. It's because your system has been working overtime for a very long time. When you're ready, say continue. Now let's talk about what actually changes when you start listening to this exhaustion instead of fighting it. Because there's an important difference between being tired from living a full life and being drained from carrying what was never yours. Your body usually knows which one it is. Healthy tiredness feels honest. You rest and it passes. Empath exhaustion feels sticky. You rest and it lingers. And once you can feel that difference, you can respond in a way that actually restores you. This is where many empaths get confused. They try to fix this kind of exhaustion with more effort, more productivity, more self-improvement, even more healing work. But if your system is already overactivated, adding more tasks, even well-intentioned ones, just keeps the background noise running. What your nervous system is asking for isn't improvement, it's permission. Let me offer you another sentence that can quietly protect your energy in everyday moments. I want to help, but I don't have the capacity for this right now. Notice how that feels in your body. There's honesty there without harshness. There's self-respect without withdrawal. And when you say something like this consistently, your system starts to trust that you'll intervene before it collapses. I want to pause here and invite you into a brief self-check. Just listen to these questions and notice what comes up. Where in my life am I more emotionally available than I actually have energy for? Who do I feel responsible for in a way that leaves me depleted? What do I fear would happen if I rested more deeply? And when was the last time I truly felt restored, not just distracted? You don't need answers right now. Awareness is enough to begin. Here's something subtle but powerful. Many empaths don't feel safe resting unless everyone else is okay. So your body stays slightly tense, slightly alert, waiting. That's not a flaw. It's a learned response. But it means that true rest will sometimes feel unfamiliar at first, even uncomfortable. And that's where gentleness matters. This is where a deeper reset can help, especially when you notice that bone-deep fatigue settling in. Take a slow breath in, letting your chest and belly expand. As you breathe out, soften your shoulders and your jaw. Let your weight sink into whatever is supporting you. Then quietly say inside, I am allowed to let go of what isn't mine. Stay there for a few breaths. This is not about emptying your mind. It's about giving your body a new message. There's one more boundary sentence I want to offer you, especially for ongoing dynamics. This doesn't work for me the way things are now. That sentence is clear, but it's not aggressive. It names your experience without attacking anyone. And for many empaths, speaking this truth is the moment their energy begins to come back online, because their body finally feels represented. As you practice these small shifts, something important happens. Your empathy doesn't disappear. It becomes grounded. You're still caring, but you're no longer leaking energy in every direction. You start to feel the difference between compassion and overextension, and the exhaustion that once felt constant begins to soften. I want you to hear this clearly. You don't need to become less sensitive to feel better. You don't need to harden or withdraw. You need to feel safe enough to stop managing what was never yours to carry. That's when rest starts to work again. That's when sleep begins to restore instead of just pause the depletion. If you're listening to this and feeling a sense of relief, let that matter. Relief is information. It's your system recognizing a new possibility. You're allowed to be well-rested and kind. You're allowed to be empathetic and boundaried. Those things were never opposites. Let's end here. You don't have to earn rest by exhausting yourself first. You're allowed to rest because you're human. And when you stop carrying the weight of everyone else's emotions, your body finally gets to exhale. In the next video, we'll talk about why empaths often feel guilty when they start choosing themselves, and how to move through that without losing your sense of care or connection.